January 24, 2026, a date that will be remembered across the archipelago and beyond. The West Philippine Sea is tense, its waves reflecting the anxiety of a nation on edge. For weeks, the world has watched a dangerous standoff unfold in these contested waters, with every development broadcast live to millions. On one side stands the massive China Coast Guard, their ships looming like steel giants, asserting their presence with every patrol. On the other, smaller but resolute Philippine vessels, their crews determined to fulfill their mission against all odds. Their mission? To deliver vital supplies, food, water, medicine, to Filipino soldiers stationed on a rusting outpost, isolated in the middle of the sea. The Chinese blockade forms a wall of steel, engines rumbling, radios crackling with warnings and threats, making every approach perilous. Filipino captains, outnumbered and outgunned, skillfully weave through narrow gaps, refusing to turn back or be intimidated. Every journey is a gamble, every close call a potential flashpoint that could ignite a larger conflict. The Chinese use water cannons and dangerous maneuvers, trying to force the Filipinos away, but the supply boats hold their ground, undeterred. Their only weapons are their skill, their determination, and the flag on their mast, a symbol of hope and defiance. Today, something changes. After weeks of mounting global pressure, urgent diplomacy, and calls for restraint, China finally backs down, ordering its ships to pull away. The blockade lifts. The long-awaited supply mission goes through, bringing relief and supplies to the outpost at last. Relief sweeps from Manila to Washington, Tokyo to Canberra. Across the world, allies and supporters breathe a collective sigh. The region exhales, the sea momentarily calm, but the memory of the standoff lingers in every wave and every heart. It's a powerful reminder. A small nation, standing firm, can make a difference and inspire others to do the same. The world saw the Philippines refuse to be intimidated, standing up for its rights and sovereignty in the face of overwhelming odds. The standoff is over for now, but the struggle for sovereignty and respect in these waters continues, echoing into the future. To truly understand the heart of this conflict, you must first know the story of the BRP Sierra Madre, a ship that has become much more than just steel and rust. Once a World War II landing ship, she was deliberately run aground on Ayungin Shoal in 1999, transforming from a vessel of war into a symbol of resistance and hope. Now, she stands as a rusting sentinel, our physical and unwavering claim in these fiercely contested waters, a silent guardian against encroachment. Filipino Marines live aboard, enduring not just isolation and relentless heat, but also the ever-present threat from Chinese vessels that circle like sharks, testing their resolve day and night. Their mission is clear and unwavering: to keep the Philippine flag flying proudly over Ayungin Shoal, no matter the cost or hardship. Every resupply run is more than just a delivery of food and water. It's a lifeline, a bold act of sovereignty, and a message to the world that we will not yield. China knows that if the Sierra Madre is ever abandoned, the shoal, and the rights it represents, would fall into their hands without a fight. That's why they try to block every mission, using their ships to intimidate, delay, and sometimes even ram our supply boats, hoping to wear down our determination. The ship is crumbling, its hull weakened by decades of salt and storms, its decks fragile and battered, every inch a testament to the passage of time and the weight of its duty. Supplies often include cement, steel, and other materials, desperate attempts to patch holes and keep the ship standing, even as the sea tries to reclaim her. The struggle to maintain the Sierra Madre mirrors our larger fight, holding on against overwhelming pressure, refusing to be pushed out or erased from our own waters. The ship may be old, battered, and forgotten by many, but the spirit it represents is unbreakable, a beacon of hope and defiance. Each successful mission, each time our supply boats break through the blockade, is a small but significant defeat for China's attempts to force us out, and a victory for our sovereignty. The Marines, our heroes, living, working, and standing guard on the front lines of sovereignty, their courage a daily reminder of what's at stake. The fate of the Sierra Madre is the fate of our claim. As long as she endures, so does our presence and our rights in these waters. As long as the Sierra Madre stands, so does our resolve, unyielding, proud, and determined to defend what is rightfully ours. China's strategy is subtle but dangerous. Instead of warships, They use massive Coast Guard vessels and disguised militia boats. These gray zone tactics intimidate without open war. Chinese ships block, swerve, and threaten, forcing Filipino captains into risky choices. Water cannons become weapons, shattering equipment and endangering lives. One misstep could spark a wider conflict. The psychological toll is immense: constant harassment, endless radio threats. China hopes to wear down Filipino resolve to make us give up. But the strategy has backfired. Instead of breaking our spirit, it has united the country. The world is watching, and China's aggression is exposed. Filipino sailors walk a tightrope every mission. They endure, careful not to provoke a fight they can't win. The shadow war continues, but so does our resistance. Why does this patch of ocean matter to the world? Economics and strategy. The West Philippine Sea is a vital maritime highway. 1/3 of global shipping passes through. Over $3 trillion in trade, oil, and goods flow here each year. If China controls these waters, it could choke global trade. Freedom of navigation is at stake, a principle of international law. China's actions threaten not just the Philippines, but every nation relying on open seas. Beneath the waves lie oil and gas reserves, crucial for Philippine energy security. China's sweeping claims block us from developing our own resources. Strategically, the area is a military flashpoint. China has built bases on artificial islands, projecting power across the region. Control here is key to China's ambitions in Asia-Pacific. That's why the world is watching Ayungin Shoal. The outcome affects us all. Militarily, the Philippines is the underdog. Our Navy and Coast Guard are brave, but our resources are limited compared to the vast might of our neighbors. In the face of powerful adversaries, we rely on more than just ships and soldiers. Our shield, international law, which upholds our rights, and our enduring alliance with the United States, a partnership built on decades of trust and cooperation. In 2013, we took a bold step and brought China to court at The Hague, seeking justice through peaceful means rather than conflict. The 2016 ruling was a landmark victory. China's sweeping claims were invalidated, and Ayungin Shoal was affirmed as part of our territory, strengthening our position in the world. China rejected the ruling, but it gave us the legal and moral high ground. The world saw our commitment to law and order, not aggression. Our other shield is the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with the U.S., a cornerstone of our security for over 70 years. The U.S. has clarified: an armed attack on our forces in the South China Sea triggers their defense commitment. This promise is a powerful deterrent. This deterrent forces China to think twice before escalating. It's not just about military might, but about the consequences of aggression. The alliance doesn't mean U.S. ships escort every mission, but the threat of a strong response is real and ever-present, shaping the choices of those who challenge us. Together, the legal ruling and the treaty form our core defense. They are shields forged from law, diplomacy, and shared resolve. We defend our waters not with force, but with law and alliances. Our strength lies in unity, principle, and the support of the international community. It's a strategy for a small nation facing a giant. And it works, proving that courage, law, and alliances can stand strong against overwhelming odds. Why doesn't China just use force? The costs are too high. An attack could trigger the U.S.-Philippines Defense Treaty, risking war with America. Economically, China depends on global trade. War would bring crippling sanctions and isolation. Diplomatically, China wants to be seen as a responsible leader, not a bully. Open aggression would drive neighbors closer to the U.S. and ruin China's image. So, China is trapped powerful, but not free to act without consequences. Gray zone tactics are their compromise. Pressure without open war. But this hesitation is a vulnerability. The Philippines exploits it, using law, alliances, and global opinion. China wants the prize, but fears the price. That fear keeps the peace, for now. The Philippines counters China's aggression with assertive transparency. Every incident is documented and publicized, cameras on every mission, journalists invited aboard. When China bullies, the world sees it in real time. Videos and photos show the David and Goliath struggle. Small Filipino boats, giant Chinese ships. This strategy exposes China's actions, making denial impossible. It unites Filipinos, strengthening resolve and national pride. Diplomats use this evidence in international forums, turning the dispute into a clear case of bullying. China's narrative crumbles under the weight of visual proof. Every viral video is a PR defeat for Beijing. Transparency turns our weakness into strength. In the modern age, a camera can be as powerful as a cannon. The world is watching, and that changes everything. Information is our weapon. Assertive transparency has rallied the world to our side. The G7 and major powers condemn China's actions, demanding respect for the 2016 ruling. Allies like the US, Australia, and Japan increase security cooperation and joint patrols. Even European nations send ships to support freedom of navigation. The EU calls for de-escalation and respect for international law. Global condemnation puts diplomatic pressure on China. Beijing's reputation as an aggressor grows. China craves respect, but its actions undermine that goal. The world's support, combined with our resolve, forced China to back down. A small nation, armed with truth and friends, can stand up to a giant. The message is clear: the world will not look away. The peaceful end to the standoff is a lesson in modern power. True strength isn't just in ships or weapons, it's in courage, strategy, and the moral high ground. The Philippines chose transparency, alliances, and law over confrontation. Every act of Chinese aggression became a public relations win for us. By raising the cost of conflict, we forced China to hesitate. The 2016 ruling and our alliances reframed the fight as a matter of law, not just power. This outcome proves the value of a rules-based order. International law, backed by coalitions, can isolate aggressors. Small nations aren't helpless. They can defend sovereignty with smart diplomacy. The West Philippine Sea standoff is a triumph of will over might. Filipino resilience and courage made the difference. The sea is calm for now, but the struggle continues. In the end, conviction, not noise, wins the day.